Hello dear students of third prep science. Let's go to start our episode today as we have to study the second lesson in unit 1 as we have to talk about the acceleration. So in the previous episode we talked about the speed and types of speed. At the same time we know what is meant by the motion. So let's go to start with the first scientific term today as we have to study acceleration. Here we have on the monitor هنشوف we have to study acceleration. قدامنا acceleration. Acceleration, which means a change in the object's position, object's speed. يعني بغير سرعة الجسم. So here we have to change the speed of an object as time passes. So we have to write this definition as change in the speed as time passes or through time units. So we know now what is meant by acceleration, change in speed through time unit or as time passes or in 1 second. So from this definition we know we have two factors affecting the acceleration. The first factor is what? Is the speed, and the second factor is the time. So if you want to illustrate or represent the mathematical law of acceleration, so here we have acceleration as A equal V2 minus V1 over T. What is meant by V1 and V2 in this mathematical law? Number one, here we have V1 as initial speed, السرعة اللي بدأ بيها, initial speed. And V2 is the final speed. So we have at least two speed. One is the initial speed and one of them is the final speed. Here we have two subtraction between what and what? We have subtraction between V2 as final speed with V1 as the initial speed over time as time passes, as we know in this definition. Okay. So we have to determine the measuring units of acceleration. Measuring units of acceleration. If we have a triangle like that, mathematical law of acceleration, as we see here, we have three physical quantities, as we have number one, زي ما نشوف مع بعض, A, acceleration. Here we have V2 minus V1 over what? Over T. So if we have to identify the mathematical or the measuring unit of acceleration, we should know here the measuring unit of speed is, for example, meter per second. So time taken here, if the speed in meter per second, the time in second. So the measuring unit of acceleration is what? So here the measuring unit of acceleration is meter per second per second, because we have measuring unit of speed is meter per second and the measuring unit of time is second. So we write it as meter per second power 2, meter per second squared, as we see, because we have meter per second over or per second again. And we know from the previous slide, as we have here, we have final speed as V2 and initial speed as V1. From the mathematical law now, we can represent the physical quantities as acceleration equal V2 minus V1 over T, or delta T, delta which means difference, V delta V over delta T. delta V, which means we have two speed subtraction, and delta T, which means we have 2 times our time passes here. So now we can know the mathematical law and the measuring units of acceleration. So the measuring unit of acceleration is what? Is meter per second watt power 2, or meter per second squared. Next point, we have here a problem, as we have a car starts moving from rest, خلي بالكو, on a straight road after 4 seconds. The speed becomes 12 meter per second. Calculate the acceleration. So here we have to write the givens in this problem, as we have number 1, V1, V2, and T, because in this question he asks me about the acceleration. V1 equal how many? Equal 0, because the object starts from rest. So V1 equals 0 per meter per second, okay? And V2 equal how many? Equal 12 meter per second. Okay, and T equal how many? Equal 4 seconds. So now we can calculate the acceleration from the mathematical law, as we have A equal V2 minus V1 over T, or delta T. So V2 equal how many? Equal 12 minus what? 0, yes, over 4. So we have 12 over 4 equal 3. But 3 what? We have measuring unit, meter per second power 2, because here we have meter per second and here we have the measuring unit is second. So we have meter per second power 2 as the measuring unit of what? Of acceleration, زي ما احنا شايفين قدامنا كده. So now dear students, عرفنا دلوقتي مع بعض زي ما احنا بنتكلم على measuring unit of acceleration, meter per second power 2, and we know acceleration, which means change in speed as time passes. هو تغيير السرعة. Maybe me at rest now and start to move. So I have the start, or the initial speed equals 0, and then my speed increase. Maybe I move, then I will stop. So my speed is, for example, 40 meter per second. Then I will stop, so my speed change or decreases into 0 meter per second. So in this case, my speed decreases as time passes, and in the first case, my speed increases as time passes. So here we talk about the types of acceleration. أنواع acceleration. We have increasing acceleration and we have decreasing acceleration. لما نيجي نشوف مع بعض increasing أو decreasing acceleration, we should know the starting أو the initial speed and the final speed. نخلي بالنا لأن هنا the decreasing acceleration, its value in negative. Because why? Because of the final speed less than initial speed, and we make subtraction between final speed to the initial speed. فطبعا result in this problem in negative, because we have decreasing acceleration. As here we have give reason for. The body moves, زي ما احنا شايفين, the body moves with acceleration, can't move with regular speed. The body moves with acceleration, can't move with regular speed. الجسم اللي بيتحرك acceleration. And we know what is meant by acceleration. Acceleration is a change in what? Change in, yes, speed as time passes. So we can answer according to speed or regular speed or acceleration. أقوله لا. We answer here according to acceleration, because in this question we have can't move with regular speed. So the answer here هقوله because the speed increases as time passes. So we answer according to what acceleration. Next point is here هنأجل اليونيفورم ونون يونيفورم. هنخلي دلوقتي احنا هنتكلم على البوزيتيف ونيجاتيف acceleration. ونيكست ابيسود ان شاء الله we will talk about the uniform and the non-uniform acceleration. We have number one positive acceleration and number two we have negative acceleration. Positive acceleration, which means speed increases as or through time units. So here we have the speed increases, السرعة بتزيد as times units. So here we have final speed greater than initial speed. So we have final speed greater than V2 greater than V1. So the value of this acceleration in what? In positive acceleration. خلي بالنا. And we can represent this relation between speed and time as we have V, our axis of speed, and axis of time. We have two axes in this graph, T and V. So we have V1 here, and here we have V2. So the speed increases as time passes. And here we have as the same speed or velocity and time. طبعا in lesson 2 we will know the difference between velocity and the speed. Okay, so the final speed خلي بالنا greater than initial speed, and at the same time we have negative acceleration or deceleration or decreasing acceleration. We can write decreasing acceleration or deceleration or negative as the opposite خلي بالنا هنا of positive. Here the speed increases as time passes or through time unit, but here we have what? We have the speed decreases through time unit, which means what? The final speed less than initial speed, as we have V2 less than V1. يعني we have here V2 less than V1, or V1 as initial speed is greater than final speed, which means the speed decreases, السرعة بتقل بمرور الزمن. As we have here two axes, one of them is for speed and here we have T as time. So here we have هنكتب V2 or what? لا, V1 greater than V2. يعني the speed decreases as time passes. السرعة بتقل. Maybe we use the brakes, نستخدم الفرامل to decrease the speed as time passes. So now we have positive acceleration, speed increases. So greater speed is what? Is the final greater than initial speed. And here we have negative acceleration, which means, or deceleration, which means the final speed, what? The final speed here is less than initial speed, as we see in this law. Okay, so if we have to write some questions here, as complete the following statements. At regular motion, the distance is what? Proportional with what? As we have, نرجع للليسن اللي قبليه. We have what? We have V equal D over T. Yes? So we have relation between speed and distance, and we have relation between speed and time. So the relation speed أو the relation between speed and distance at the same line زي ما احنا شايفين صح؟ So the relation is directly proportional, which means if the speed increases, the time will increase also. The distance, sorry, will increase also. أكيد كل ما همشي أسرع كل ما هاخد مسافة أكبر. So the distance is what? Is directly proportional with طبعا with speed. طيب ممكن ناخد problem هنا أقول له body moves okay with speed equal 4 meter per second. Then the driver used the brakes اللي هي الفرامل to stop after, for example يعني 2 seconds. Calculate the acceleration. So we have V1 and V2 with time. V1 is the initial speed. The car moves, or the body moves with the speed equal 4 meter per second. Then the driver used the brakes to stop. So here we have 0 meter per second. What is the initial speed? V1 equal 4 meter per second. Don't forget to write the measuring unit beside the number. V2 equal 0 meter per second. Okay, then we have time equal how many? Equal 2 seconds. So how can we calculate the acceleration from the mathematical law? هنكتب A equal V2 minus V1 over what? Over T. So V2 equals 0 minus 4 over 2. So we have negative 4, 0 minus 4, يبقى negative 4 over 2. So we have negative what? 2. Negative over positive, negative طبعا. Negative 2 what? Meter per second power A power 2. Why? Because we talk about acceleration. And here the type of acceleration is what? Is negative acceleration. يعني the speed decreases as time passes. So V2 what? Less than V1. Okay? If we have another problem, as we have a car moves with speed equal 40 meter per second. The car moves with deceleration, واحنا عارفين deceleration which means decreasing acceleration. Deceleration equal 5 meter per second power 2 through 2 seconds. Calculate the final speed. Oh my God. Here we have to calculate the final speed. So we should write the measuring of the mathematical law as we have what, and what. We have acceleration, final speed, initial speed, and time. So we have number 1, A V2 minus V1 over T. Type V1 and V2. V1 equal 40 meter per second, as you see here. And the car will decreases acceleration 5. Here we have to remember, خلي بالنا بقى. Decreasing or deceleration, so we have negative. So we will write what? Acceleration equal negative 5 meter per second power 2. ليه? Because here we talk about deceleration. So we have negative acceleration. So the value in negative. Okay. And I want to calculate what? I want to calculate V2. V2 unknown. And time equal what? Time equal 2 seconds. Okay. تعالوا ننزل لتحت شوية. بصوا بقى معي. Here we have V2 minus V1 equal A times T. From the magic triangle. V2 minus V1 equal A times T. I need to calculate V2, final speed. So V2 equal A times t brackets. Here we have V2 will transfer to the other side, and here we have negative, صح? So we will use positive as V or plus V1. Okay? So V2 equal acceleration equal how many? 5 meter per second, but in negative. بصوا كده بعمل ايه؟ فوق negative. يبقى negative 5 times time equal كام؟ equal 2 bracket plus what V1 equal كام؟ equal 40 meter per second. So here we have V2 equal negative 10 plus 40 equal how many? Equal 30 meter per second. Remember, here V2 should be less than V1. V2 equal 40 meter per second to check your answer عشان أتأكد إن إجابتي صح. And V1 equal 40 meter per second. Because we talk about what? We talk about body moves with deceleration. And here the value of decelerating motion in negative. So 5 meter per second power 2, we should write beside it a negative value. نخلي بالنا من البوينت دي كويس. Okay dear students, نخلي بالنا مع بعض. In this episode في الحلقة دي عرفنا number 1 what is meant by acceleration. Number 2 measuring unit of acceleration. Number 3 how can we deal with acceleration, final speed, initial speed, and what and time. يبقى نخلي بالنا مع بعض ان هنا in these cases we have to write value beside the acceleration. عندنا لازم يبقى ليها قيمة ان هي في positive acceleration وفي negative acceleration. يبقى احنا عرفنا مع بعض ان positive acceleration the speed increases as time passes, and the negative acceleration the speed decreases as time passes. At the same time we have positive as positive value and negative with negative value. Okay dear students, I hope you get more benefits from this episode. Thank you, see you, and goodbye.